All right, everyone, welcome back. Today we are discussing what is hard money and the advantages and disadvantages of using it and being able to find out if this is the right fit for you for your next investment property. So, we'll start off with the advantages of hard money, and there are quite a few of them. As you can see, this side basically lists most of the advantages, and then the disadvantages on this side, not too many. We'll expand on that, but what is hard money? So basically, it is private investors funding your purchase of a real estate and funding the renovation cost of the real estate instead of an individual bank. So instead of just one, source of funding, you're getting multiple sources of funding. And obviously, you're not going to go out and find all these investors on your own. Typically, you'll go through a hard money broker who will use his investors he already uses for other deals to get the funds you need for your deal. So, to give an example, typically if you're buying a $100,000 property, and that includes all your renovation costs and everything like that, the bank would fund the entire $100,000 that you would need to purchase the property. But when it comes to hard money, you'll have one person you'll be funding $10,000, maybe another person funding $30,000, maybe somebody funding $25,000. Whatever individual, all the slices of the $100,000 are different for each individual investor, but none of that you really have to worry about. That's all handled by your hard money broker to begin with. So that's where the funding comes from. So that's a difference between conventional and hard money lenders. Although it really doesn't affect you as the the purchaser of the property. You wouldn't really even know that unless they told you. I mean, it's just where they get their money from. That's the difference. So, like I was saying, typically you'll use a hard money loan on investment properties. You wouldn't really use it for any other type of property. You wouldn't use it for a house you live in. Typically, you can't use it for a house you live in. So it's, and we'll get into why it's basically an investment property type of loan. And one of them is, there's less strict requirements. For those of you who ever bought a house before, you have to go through quite a bit of, different steps and stages of the mortgage process to get approved. And one of them is usually an appraisal of the property, which is where, hard money loan really, is a massive advantage compared to a regular mortgage. Even if you do, a renovation loan, like a 2 or 3K financing, where this has it, there's no appraisal. So condition of the property typically doesn't matter. How they, what the requirements are for the funding is typically 70% of the future value of the property. Some hard money lenders might, deviate a little bit from that 70%. Some of them might fund up to 75%. Some might go, 60, 65%. Either way, the one I use does 70%, so that's what we're just going to go over for, this video here. So it's 70% of the future value of the property. So you and the hard money broker will come up to a number. If you think it's worth $240,000, they'll fund 70% of that. So 70% of the $240,000 is $168,000. So that's how much money you would get for the transaction, which would cover your purchase price, your closing cost, and renovations to the property. So, and another, how it's not quite as strict of a requirements is that there's typically no down payment to a very low down payment to purchase the property. So, at this point with my hard money lender, I typically don't even need a down payment. Once you build up, a history with them, I find that you really don't need a down payment at all, as long as the numbers work, obviously, which is what you're going over in this part anyway. So, typically you're getting no money out of pocket. If you are, it's very little. It might be like $1,000 or $2,000, so not that much money. So your rental costs are included into your total loan, and then in the competitive market, I mean it's competitive around here definitely for buying investment property. So I don't know, depends on where you're watching from. If it's very competitive there, I'm gonna guess it probably is, especially if you're watching at the time this video has come out. Is a really good thing about hard money loans is it's basically like cash because there's no contingencies on getting those funds. So like I said, there's no appraisal, and you already established, up front what the amount is that you're going to take for the hard money loan to begin with. So you could basically buy the property like it's cash. Every time I write an offer on a property, I just write it and use hard money loan. I just write into the financing part that it's cash, because it is cash, and it even says that on the pre-approval letter that I get, or the approval letter that I get from the hard money lender, that it's like cash. So that's really good in a competitive market, because with a mortgage you're typically looking at 30 to 45 days to close on a house. Cash deals you can typically do 2 weeks to maybe 4 weeks maximum. So for a seller, if they're getting an offer of the same price, if two offers that are the same price, one's cash, one's mortgage, they're definitely going to always take the cash offer. I mean, there's they'd be silly not to. So this really helps you. If you don't have the funds to buy the property in cash, you basically can do it with hard money. Now, obviously, with all these great benefits, it does come with the high interest rate. Most hard money lenders around here, you're looking at 11, 12.5% interest. And they're short term, so I've seen hard money lenders around here do 6-month terms, 12-month terms, 18-month terms. It really doesn't matter which term it is. I mean, as long as it's at least 6, I would say, because most renovation projects take you around 3 to 4, maybe 5 months to do it. So if you're looking to sell the property, you can. It doesn't matter how long the term is, but if you're looking to refinance it, you at least want that 6-month term. That way you can refinance it after the 6-month period. So, but anyway, back to this high interest. So, and it's an interest only payment every single month. So they don't escrow taxes, they don't escrow insurance, so that's not all included into your payment, and you're not paying any of the principal down. So it's a 12-month, interest only loan that after the 12 months the entire loan amount is due at that point, which typically is not an issue, because like I said, you're either going to sell it, and by the time you buy it and then you settle on selling it, you're probably talking maybe 6, 7, 8 months. So not a big deal. Even if you did hold it for 12 months, that should all be factored into your cost anyway. And then if you rent it, typically, as long as the renovations are done, 100% done, you can refinance it at the 6 months after you've purchased it. So, have a 12-month loan. It's, you're going to be refinanced well before that. That's what hard money is. I mean, it's a very, basic overview of, and, very generalized of what hard money is. For those always looking to invest into real estate, they're always, wondering, how do you invest in real estate with no money? Well, this is definitely one way you do it. To invest in real estate, you don't need to have your own money. You just need to know where to access the money at, or where to find the money, where to find the investors that will fund everything for you. And this is definitely one way to go. It's the way I've been using. And, for those who do, the BRRRR method, which there'll be another video for those who don't know what that is coming out, but, it's, the acronym is BRRR. It's buy, renovate, rent, refinance, and repeat. So we'll, for those, it depends on when you're watching this video, and then in the coming week or two, there'll be a video that'll explain what the BRRRR method is, and why using hard money for that method is the best way to maximize your deal in this situation. So yeah, so that's basically what hard money is. If you have any questions about what this is, any questions, maybe you want something to explain a little bit more in detail, feel free to comment below. If there's any videos that you'd like to see, or it doesn't have to relate to this necessarily, any comments, anything about real estate questions, feel free to leave a comment below, and I'll answer you. I answer everything that comes up in the comments, respond to everyone that posts. So leaving a comment would be great, and I would appreciate a thumbs up on the video too. It definitely helps the video and the channel out, so I do appreciate that. And then subscribe, would appreciate that as well. That way you don't miss another video coming out, because we'll be having real estate videos come out every 1 to 3 times a week right now. So, anyway, thanks for watching.